Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is JPSS, and I'm bringing a game review to you called Lords of the Fallen. Now, it is a game that is free on the PlayStation Store for the month of September for PlayStation Plus members only. So if you think this game review is dank AF and you think this game is pretty dope, make sure you go check it out. Another thing is, sorry for not uploading in a long time. College keeps me busy, and my personal life is a struggle, so be gentle with me. I'm giving you a game review of this because I think this game is going to open up a huge amount of possibilities for this channel. I'll explain that later, but until then, enjoy the game review, and I'm done talking, so let's get into this. Alright, so when you first get started, you get this little start screen that pretty much directs you straight into the place where you can make your character. Now, you get the two options to make a magic type selection or an equipment type selection. Now, the magic type selection is pretty much just what kind of special spells and abilities that your character has while you play the game. Nothing special. Highly recommend you read them. I'm not going to read them for you. Okay, I picked the one that has Rage, which is that red one right there, because it gives you increased attack power, defense power, and it has certain special abilities that I enjoy. I don't want to do the deception or the other things because I feel like I'm never going to use those. So moving on. Okay, so here you're actually picking the kind of attack character you want. This is actually what your character is going to look like. These are the kind of attacks, defense, and stats that your character is going to have. Like, your character is literally going to look like the guy that you pick on this screen. I picked the paladin guy with the massive hammer because he has the most balanced stats out of all of them, and he just looks freaking dope. Okay. Once you actually finish everything up, this is going to be your character sheet. You get to see all of your special abilities, your cards, and pretty much your overall statistics of what your character is going to happen for the game. Now, when you actually finish, you get to a nice, delicious little cutscene as always, but this cutscene is dope because it actually changes depending on the kind of character that you pick. I picked the guy with the hammer, so you can see that he goes and this is the story of how he gets the hammer. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with the daggers and or the sword when you're a knight or a other thing, but I'm pretty sure the cutscene changes depending on the kind of character you have, which is the first I've seen of this, and I think it's completely rare and freaking awesome. The graphics look phenomenal, so bonus points for that. Originality. Boom. So now when you actually get into here, I would say that the controls are the most simple of any controls that you can possibly have. All right, there's a heavy attack button, a light attack button, block, dodge, and then you get to switch between your shield or your attack. It couldn't be more simple, self-explanatory attack controls there is. A monkey can do this. Any guy that has picked up a controller in the past 5 days can figure this out. Now, not all fights are going to be sunshine and rainbows, okay? Sometimes you're going to get guys like this. Old Smokey the Bear over here. Right? Guys like this are called the big bosses of the game. Now, these guys are pretty tough to beat, but once you spend enough time trying to figure out their attack patterns and actually come up with a strategy on how to fight these guys, they're not so bad. They're a little time consuming and they can be a struggle sometimes, but if you actually use your brain to try and figure out a strategy, they're not so bad. But in the end, they're actually a lot of fun. They remind me of a lot of the games that I played back in the day, which, I'm not going to lie, were one of the best. So we're going to get into when you actually fight and beat your first guy, you actually get his power, and that's pretty much for all the big boss fights, you steal their power. And this guy actually gives you the ability to cast spells on your enemies, which actually help you in the end. And you can use these, you can actually get these in this little crystal area here, which I'll show you in a second. And the experience points you earn get to be divvied up between spell points and what is that even? Attribute points, I don't know. You can use them to upgrade your strength and stamina, such as also getting certain spells and attacks, depending on the kind of character you have. I like to divvy up the experience points evenly between the two set of points so that not too area gets overpowered, and I like to be remained as balanced as possible. Now, Lords of the Fallen is a very straightforward, linear type of free roam game. You're allowed to free roam as far and wherever you want to go as long as possible, as long as you stay on the beaten path. But the beaten path is pretty long and very treacherous, so I usually try and keep her going as long as I possibly can. It's a lot of fun, but struggle sometimes. You fight a lot of guys, you do a lot of things. But I'd say out of all of the problems in this game, besides getting killed, besides getting destroyed by huge boss fights and all this other stuff, the one thing I really dislike about this game is the fact that you can go all the way to grandmother's house, you can go over the windy brick road, you can go up and down the babbling brook of nonsense, you can travel the Great Wall of China for all I care, but you can be spending a whole hour on this game. You could be fighting bad guys for the past hour and a half. But, unfortunately, if you go through all of this and you manage to die and you make so much progress, you find a new weapon, you find all this new gear. But if you die at all without saving your game, you restart all the way back at the beginning. Yes, I know you restart back at the beginning. But if you decide you want to be a nigga with attitude and you want to fuck the police and just run on straight through, that's not going to work either, because if by the time you run all the way through, you lose already half your health, and then the guys that you passed end up chasing you, and then they end up killing you because you're trying to work on the guys that were in front of you, and then you end up dying again. So don't die, people, because you end up dying anyway. So ignoring all that crap for a second, there's actually another amazing part of this game. There's tons of loot and there's tons of heavy armor you can use all around the game. You can customize your character from X to Z, all around the board. You know, that you could pretty much become the best tank you can possibly be. Now, it's not just hack and slash. There's all kinds of characters and there's all kinds of people you can interact with around the map that may or may not help you in the future. We're not sure yet. But she's just a perfect example of one of the characters that leads you to a boss fight and maybe help you in the end. We're not sure yet. Now, not all big bosses are going to be the same. Some are going to be stronger, some are going to be harder to hit, and some are going to have crazy attack patterns that you have no idea what they're going to do next. This guy right here probably took me about an hour and a half just to figure out how to defeat him. And I died so many times, and here you can see I got destroyed in 3 hits. That's how I did not know what I was doing. But to sum up, we're going to come to a conclusion. Now, since this game is full of strategy and critical thinking, and I know there's going to be some guys out there that do not like these kind of games, and if you are one of those guys that is not good with strategizing and not good with trying to figure out what to do and really doesn't like dying so much, then I would probably give this game a 6 out of 10 for you. Because you're not going to have fun, you're going to keep dying all over the place, and it's just not going to be a good experience for you. But for guys like me that like strategizing, that like trying to problem solve, and like trying to find the weakness in the enemy, I'd give this game an 8 out of 10 for the good players. Okay, so the bad players that aren't good at this, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Good players, 8 out of 10. That's going to sum up to about a 7 out of 10 for everybody and all people. So if you're good and you want to try, give it a try. 7 out of 10, it's free, just try it. So we're going to come to the conclusion. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, all that fantastic stuff. And what I was saying in the beginning, there are so many possibilities for this game because I could live stream if I'm fighting a boss. I can live stream with you guys, and you guys can type in the chat, help me out what ideas to defeat him. I can interact with you guys. This game is so much fun and a blast to try and figure out how to defeat these enemies and get through the levels. It's just a blast. As always, thank you guys so much for all the support. It has been fantastic. Sorry for not uploading, all that jazz. Hope to see you in the next video. Man, I need a break. See you in the next one. Bye!